Hi, this is Neil Boland for Australian Musician. I'm going to talk about electric guitars. If you've never owned an electric guitar before, you're about to learn a few things. This in my hand is an electric guitar. Basically what it is a guitar that requires amplification to be heard pretty much at all times. They work by having electronics built in. These things here are called the pickups because they pick up the sound from the strings, send it out the cable into the amplifier, and that is an electric guitar. Other things you'll find on an electric guitar is the pickup selector, and this obviously selects between the pickup that is closest to the back of the instrument and the one that's closest to the front, and they go from bright to warm. Very simple. The other thing to look for is the volume and tone knob on an electric guitar. Basically, they are what they are. That's the volume of your instrument there, how loud you want the instrument to be, and how much signal you want to send out to the amplifier. Tone is how much treble you have. So if the guitar's too sharp and it's cutting people's heads off in the audience, just turn it down a little bit and mellow the tone out a little bit. Another feature in an electric guitar, the majority of the time, is a solid piece of wood for the body. There are a lot of exceptions out there, but some of the more famous models, like this one I'm holding in my hand here, is a piece of solid wood. That was invented so at high volumes the guitar won't screech and feedback and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically, you can turn these up really, really loud and they sound really clean and tidy, and away you go. Okay, so just a few other things about bits and pieces. Here's some jargon busters for you, so when you go into the store you'll be armed with this information for maybe your first purchase of an electric guitar. Let's go from the bottom to the top. Obviously what I said before, this is the body. They can be made of various woods. At the ultra entry level they could be made of composite materials. You are better off looking for something like a wood called alder. It's a very common piece of wood. This one here is a piece of ash. Ash is a very twangy sounding piece of wood, but alder's the one, or basswood is something you'll find in the entry level as well. All very legitimate woods. Okay, so what we have here is the bridge, and that is where the strings go over the top of these little things here, like a bridge. A little bit different to an acoustic guitar. Quite often the strings are actually through the body on an electric guitar. So instead of having the strings stopping at the bridge here, these will actually go all the way through. And you'll see on the back there where you actually feed the strings in to restring the guitar. You'll hear things called a bolt-on. Bolt-on pretty much means that the neck is literally bolted onto the body. This is the neck, by the way. And around here is the fretboard. And also we've got the headstock with the tuners as well. We have the pickups, like I mentioned before. These pickups here are what we call single coil pickups, so there's some more terminology for you. A single coil means that there are lots of little pieces of copper wire going around and around inside this pickup here. That coil is actually what picks up the sound of the instrument. It creates a magnetic field as well. You'll actually find if you actually push your strings up against it, you'll hear it making a little pinging noise, and it'll sort of stick to it a little bit. Don't do that too much, but yeah, that's one thing you discover. They're a magnetic product. So these are both what we call single coils, and they produce a very clean, pristine, sparkly, spanky, twangy, all these different sounds that you'll hear out of a single coil pickup, for example. Okay, the one thing that you will notice about a single coil instrument too is the first time you ever plug it in and maybe turn it up loud or use a thing called overdrive, which is that really grunty sound that you hear coming out of an amplifier with blues and rock players as well. Maybe a little bit of noise, a bit of a hum. That's completely natural. You can buy pickups that actually get rid of the hum and replace it, but sometimes there is a trade-off between the classic tones of the 60s and 70s and a hum-free tone of maybe the 80s as well. So it depends on what your ears like and what your taste is. But it's just a sound. All it is, if you listen to some of those old recordings, maybe from the 70s of Eric Clapton, where he's playing really, really great blues guitar, put on the headphones and listen to it. You'll hear the guitar humming in the background. It's just all part of the beast.